Hey boys, Sean here. It's day 2 of our 90-day challenge that we're doing here, Cornerstone Run. Cornerstones, reading, audio, marketing, and mastermind. Those things are going to become very, very familiar in the next 90 days and hopefully more. As far as reading goes, I'm still reading Why Now is the Time to Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm finding this book, I feel like it's going to be one of the essential books for me when it comes to this, because it targets specifically what we're doing right now with this internet marketing and why now is the time to crush it. It's all about personal branding, and I kind of spoke of this stuff yesterday, but I just wanted to get that general part across first. Today, the most interesting things I read was Gary, in the book, he goes through how he started when he was a kid, 7 years old, having like 10 lemonade stands going and ripping around on his big wheel collecting all the profits from his lemonade stands, and then getting into baseball cards. And when he found out that there was a profit for them, he started trading these baseball cards. And then he realized that when he went to them, one of the cool stories, he borrowed $1,000 from his father to buy a bunch of baseball cards at Costco. He just bought boxes of them, and it turns out after he referred to his magazine that told him the value, they were only worth $200, and so he was pretty choked. And when he told his parents, they were pretty upset. But the next day, he decided to go to this baseball card convention anyways. And what he did is he walked around the convention, he took notes on what people were selling, and any of the cards that people were selling, he outsold them by just a little bit. And he did this not just for the profit, but to make sure that people were coming to his table to look at his cards, first of all. Then he took all the cards that he had that weren't in his magazine, and he just deduced that if they're not in this magazine that's talking about the value of baseball cards, then maybe these cards are really rare and they carry more value. So he upped the price on those cards that weren't in the magazine, and since people weren't able to refer to that magazine for what they should be paying for the cards, they were paying those prices for those rare cards, and he ended up making well over $1,000 in the next few months, paid his dad back, and went on his way. So the guy's pretty incredible, and there's a lot of really good lessons to learn in that book. I'm just getting started, so I haven't really broken into any of the big things yet with it, but I'm really excited to keep going with that. As for audio, I still listen to Grant Cardone's If You're Not First, You're Last. It's still carrying the same kind of tones. I was able to get through the first chapter on my drive out to the Kootenays here today. And Grant Cardone, he can be pretty funny guy sometimes. I like how he has an analogy of how there's like 4 different types of people and how they'll deal with things. I mean, the book targets about being first or last, but the nice thing about what we do, like I said yesterday, is that we all can be first, and we can still learn lessons from an audio book like this, even though we're not a singular unit. We're all kind of in this together, and we're all helping each other out. So it talks about 4 types of people, and how this book really focuses on or this audiobook, it's focusing right now on if there's a recession or if there's a downtime in the economy, and how to take advantage of that and make your business boom when other businesses are failing. And he says there's 4 kinds of people when these economies go down. There's the type of person who's like a cheerleader, where they cheer it on and they say, I can do this, I'm going to be fine, this and that, but they don't really take action. That's not us. We've already taken action. We know we got this. The second one was the person that says that they're just going to wait it out. It'll pass and things will continue on as normal. We also know that's true. I've tried to stick it out with other jobs. I thought these feelings would pass, and they don't. I had to make a change. The third, quitters. We know we're not quitters. The quitters just give up. They say there's nothing that they can do about it. There's no way that they can change their future. We got to deal with what we got. We know this isn't the case. And the fourth is taking action and conquering. This has a lot to do with adapting to the current times, like everything that we learn. It's just like when I started with Bobby, it was 3-way calls, and then bam, we're running story ads, epic, we're writing story ads, bam, internet marketing, gas, everything's just blowing up and it's moving so fast. So you're learning a new thing every minute. But I think it's kind of important through all this that I've been thinking about is that not to forget those basic things and to respect them, and that maybe it's not a bad idea to be running, all these different types of ads. And, I've even had thoughts of myself lately of going back to Craigslist, because that's where I got my first sale. So as far as things go for me, my most successful venture has been my original ad that I wrote on Craigslist when I didn't have a single clue what I was doing. So yeah, audio's going good. I'm pretty excited to listen to more of that. And Grant Cardone's pretty funny. I like the analogy he makes about quitters saying they're, you know, they're just not going to participate in this so-called recession or downturn in the economy that he speaks of. But it's kind of like he says, standing in the middle of an earthquake and saying that you're not going to participate with the earthquake. It just doesn't work like that. You know, if things are going downhill, you've got to make an effort to change things. You got to adapt, and you got to make it work with what you got, because you're never going to have anything but what you got. So yeah, that was going really well. Marketing wise, still running those 4 split tests. I believe they end tomorrow on the 6th, or I guess like tonight, so-called, at 3 a.m. So we'll see how those good. I got one clear standout. It's CrossFit Male Mobile, and I think it's cleanly because it's male mobile. One of my ads isn't doing so hot, and that is the female desktop. I'm not saying the interests don't have anything to do with it either, but I think it really comes down to where we're targeting there, and I think it's mainly the mobile to desktop thing out of all those things there. So those are going good though. One thing I did want to share was that I do have one opt-in on the Gaz thing. I think I have like 8 unique views and 30 views. That's what it says in my affiliate links part of the Gaz site. So one opt-in sounds pretty good for me for the start of this all, because we're not even really investing heavily yet. You know, I'm excited when we find a couple ads to really dive into, and we can invest some serious money into, because I'm really ready to get into this. As for masterminding, well, I feel like this is almost a big part of masterminding. I like that we can kind of keep in touch through this video thing. It gives us a lot of really good experience talking. Bobby, your videos are always super, super helpful and super in-depth. Nick, I always enjoy hearing what you have to say, and I really think it's a great way to share our experience. And this whole 90-day thing, it went from a personal thing on that page that that was posted on there for us to do, and post to this page, and now it's become this thing between us as well, where we're watching each other's videos, we're learning from each other's videos, we're getting a chance to talk without anybody else speaking, we're getting a chance to get comfortable with being on the camera, and doing what we need to do best. So I really, really like it. And even though we didn't talk really much on WhatsApp today or get on a Google Hangout or anything like that, I still feel like we're working together just by making these videos and sharing them. So that's super, super awesome. And I think that's really kind of nailing the masterminding part on the head as far as that goes, because I don't know, I just, after watching Balaz's live yesterday, like that, anyone who's an amateur like me should be watching that. That got me so fired up, and he's apologizing on there for not being able to do the webinar. And you know what? That was one of the best videos I've seen. I was super inspired from it. So I wasn't upset at all that there wasn't a webinar. That did me just fine. And then this whole Cornerstones thing came up, and it was just like, man, like all of this, like right now, it's just like, let's go, let's do this. This is big stuff. This is really cool stuff. So yeah, I'm super, super excited that all this is happening, and I'm feeling more confident by the day. And thank you guys for everything, and I'll see you again tomorrow on day 3 of our 90-day Cornerstone Run. Bye.